Okay, hello everyone. Today we are going to do a lesson on food webs. You have done that before in previous classes as well, so it's pretty straightforward. So, to the keywords for today, the food web, trophic levels, producer, consumers, and then to watch the warm up for the food chain and for the food web as well, for the videos and take notes. So producers and consumers. So everyone should be knowing that by now that producers are the organisms that are able to produce their own food and get energy from it, and they are like also known as autotrophs. And for consumers, like they consume food produced by the producers. So they are also known as the heterotrophs. So they need to eat other organisms to get their energy. And you should be familiar with the food chain. So the food chain is the energy flow in an ecosystem that can be shown in the form of a food chain. So the food energy flow. So for example, the producers like plants and grasses, so they are being eaten by the wallaby, and then the wallaby is eaten by the eagle. So there is a flow of energy. You can see the arrows. So that's a food chain that is representing different levels. First, second, third, the trophic levels. So this is a food chain, only one chain. And there are trophic levels in all the food chains. So starts from the number one is producer, the plants or grasses. Then the primary consumer who consume the plants and grasses. Then the secondary consumer who consume the primary consumers, and then the tertiary ones who consume the secondary consumers. So these are known as the trophic levels. Okay, then the radiant energy of sunlight. So as we were talking about the trophic level, so the first one is made up of producers. So it could be trees, shrub, grasses, ferns, or it could be the phytoplankton and algae if we talk about the sea ecosystem, the organisms in the sea. Then the next level, the primary consumers, they are known as the herbivores who only eat plants. So plant eating insects, small birds, possums. And in the sea system, it could be zooplankton or whelks. Then after that, they are being consumed by the secondary consumers. Those could be the carnivores like us and or owls or other organisms. And then in the sea world, it could be starfish and the small fish. Then the tertiary consumers could be the snakes, eagles that would eat the carnivores. And in the sea world, it would be the large fish and the shark who feed on the small fish and the starfish. So that is showing you the different trophic levels, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so food web. So now coming to food web. What is a food web? So food web shows you the interconnection of different food chains together. So it's a network of food chains which are interconnected at various trophic levels so as to form a number of feeding connections among different organisms of a biotic community. So it shows you the energy flow in an ecosystem, and it consists of different food chains together that are interconnected. But remember, the arrows between the food webs, they always go towards a higher trophic level, like from the lower one to the higher one, from the producers to the consumers. And producers are always located usually at the bottom of the food chain, and the trophic levels increases as we move up. And food webs usually also include the dead and decaying matter as well. So I'll show you an example here. So you can see the grasses here, there are the producer. So rabbits eat grasses and eagle would eat rabbit. So that is only one food chain, but you can add another one to it because the goat can also eat the grass, and then eagle can also eat the goat. Also the birds would eat the grass, snake would eat the birds, and in return the eagle would eat the snake. So you can see the different food chains here, like 1, 2, 3, 4. So there is an interconnection. So all of that, it is like a food web when all of them are connecting together. And you can see the arrows. So arrows are the energy flowing from grass to rabbit, from rabbit to eagle. So that's a flow of energy. Remember to take care of when you're drawing the arrows. You cannot draw the arrows towards this side. That will be wrong food web. So also one food chain here. So plant litter, the fungi eats that and then decomposes it like here, and then eaten by insects. So you can see the different connections here. So different food chains connected together. You can see the Antarctic food web here. Try to see the different connections and the different food chains here as well. So Antarctic food web, it's in the sea. So you can see like in Antarctica, so phytoplankton and all are going up and ending up in the human as well here. So another example of a food web. Energy flow, so you can see the food chain and food web here as well. So trees, giraffe, loin. So remember to see the arrows here. So giraffe is getting energy from tree, so going arrow here. So energy is going from giraffe to loin, so that's why it's here, and the different food chains here as well. Okay, so now complete any one of the activity below and then email me the work and mention which activity you are doing. If you're doing the Biozone worksheets, that's fine. You can just tell me these are the Biozone worksheets. If you're doing the Venn diagram, just in your email